Is this your first time ever making a turkey? Were you picked to have Thanksgiving at your house this year? Well, I got you covered. I'm gonna give you a step-by-step instructions on how to make the perfect Thanksgiving turkey. And trust me, it's not as hard as you think. Before we get started on cooking the turkey, here are a couple things you need to keep in mind. So before you buy your turkey, the general rule is figure for weight 1 to 1.5 pounds per person. And there's two different ways that if your turkey is frozen to get it all ready to cook. So you can do, the first way is to put it into a pan, put it in the refrigerator. So normally it's every 4 pounds takes at least 1 day to thaw. So if you have like a 10-pound turkey, it's gonna take you a couple days. Or if you're like me, when I cook sometimes, I always forget and wait till the last minute. So you can also do a cold water bath. So you can put it in cold water and every 30 minutes you're gonna flip it. Now it might take most of the day, but if you do forget to do that, there is another option. So now that we got those general rules out of the way, now let's get preparing this turkey. I'm gonna be cooking mine in a Nesco, but if you wanna cook it in an oven, you're gonna wanna preheat your oven to 450 degrees while you're preparing your turkey. And then also, once it's thawed out, you're gonna bring it out of the fridge and just kind of let it sit in its juices for about 30 minutes. Then you're gonna take the packaging off. I like to put mine on a pan because I just don't want like turkey juices everywhere. So I got mine in a pan. So now the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take out the neck, and then in each turkey, there's a bag of liver, gizzards, and then the heart. So you're gonna wanna take that out of the inside, which I'm gonna show you here in a second, and make sure you take out the neck. When you get your turkey, they're probably gonna have the legs attached, and then you're gonna kind of lift up the tail, and there's gonna be this plastic thing here. So that, some of them don't have this. Some of them you might just have to grab, like it'll be in a little bag that's kind of a paper bag or the neck. But some of them have it to where it's already attached, so you're just gonna pull this out. I know this is so gross, but once we get past this part, you're gonna wanna pull this out because that's where the neck and the stuff is. So here, let me get the neck out first. I know, I'm sorry. You guys are like, wow, we're not. Here, I'm gonna flip it over here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. See this? See this little paper here? Can you see that? Here's the paper and then the neck. We're just gonna pull that out. All right. Okay, there we go. Carefully pull it out. All right, so see this bag? This has your gizzard, your liver, and your heart. Now listen, I still have a little bit of ice on mine. You wanna make sure that it's completely thawed out, and then I'm gonna grab the neck out of here because they take it off for you and then they just shove it inside. Wow, that's a really long neck. And so just to give you kind of a heads up, if you are a good, like you like to make stuffing, a lot of people will take the liver out of here and the heart and the gizzard and they'll chop it up really small and add it to stuffing. I'm not gonna do that because my family doesn't like it, but you can utilize this. I know my dad, when I was growing up, he would chop up the liver into little pieces and the heart and add it to the stuffing. I personally like liver, but if you don't, you don't have to use this, but just in case you want to, there's a heart, gizzard, and liver in there that you can use. Okay, so now we're gonna take this over to the sink because we're gonna wanna rinse it all off, pat it dry, then we're gonna add some spices to it. Alrighty, let's bring over our turkey. We're gonna rinse it with like lukewarm water and then pat it dry. We're gonna put it back on the pan and then put our spices on it. So just get your sink going here. And then just rinse it really good. Now, if you want to cut off this extra little piece, we can do that later, like the tail and stuff, and there's some fat on the top. So just, I don't know if you guys can see this, but just rub it. Clean the inside out too. Just fill it with water on the inside too. And just rub it. All right. Now make sure you get all those juices out of the inside too. I'm actually gonna just rinse the pan a little bit too. Here we go. Let me rinse that again. All right. Oh, this is a big turkey. Okay. Okay. Alrighty, so just use your towel, pat it dry. All right, now we're gonna go back to the counter. All right, time to add the spices. My spices, now. I'm gonna be doing an Italian seasoning. So it has marjoram, basil, oregano, rosemary, sage, savory. So I'm gonna add Italian seasoning. I'm also gonna add parsley, some black pepper, and hickory smoked salt. So all we're gonna do is just sprinkle it on here and rub it into the meat a little bit. We'll do both sides. You don't need a lot. Okay. Just a little bit here and I'll rub it all over. We'll grab some oil. Now you can do whatever you want. You can add like a smoked barbecue. You can add different kinds of things. If you just want to do salt and pepper, go ahead and just do salt and pepper. All right. I like to use avocado oil, so just a little bit. Okay. And then just kind of rub it in. Rub it into the turkey. Make sure you get the wings too. Get it all over here. I'll make sure I don't use the same hand I'm using to do the turkey. Looks like I need a little bit on here. Okay, now we're gonna flip it and then do the same thing on this side. Make sure you get the legs. Make sure you have a, you know what you can do too, just to make it easier, which I should have done, is put all your spices in a bowl, ready to go, and then you don't have to be one-handed rubbing in your spices. Okay, because it's just like chicken, right? You want to make sure that you don't touch lots of stuff when you're working with it. Okay, there we go. And then the oil. Okay, and then you're just gonna rub this in too, into those legs. Later, we're gonna be grabbing some butter and using butter just to kind of finish it. So I wanna show you something here. I have some excess stuff. So I'm gonna flip this over. So do you see this right here? So this is another way to help you know when your turkey is done. This is gonna pop up. And it's gonna pop up and let you know, hey, it's close to being done. But I would use a thermometer, which I'm gonna be using because you want it at 165 degrees in the thickest part of the meat. So I mean, this will help you, but you are gonna wanna make sure you have a meat thermometer. It's just gonna help it, you know, so you don't overcook it, because I don't know, I've had lots of dry turkeys in my time, and you gotta just really watch it. My husband, though, makes a really good turkey. Really good turkey. Okay. Unless he's watching the Lions game and he forgets that he's doing it. Okay, so the turkey's all ready to go. So I'm gonna go grab my nester. It's right behind me. And you're gonna wanna face it breast down. If you're cooking it in an oven and you preheated your oven to 450, you're gonna wanna turn that down to 350 degrees. I'm gonna put my turkey into my roaster pan. Remember, it is breast down, okay? So we're gonna put it in there, and next up, you're gonna wanna either grab chicken broth or water, and we're gonna add probably 2 cups around the turkey, because you're gonna use that steam also to cook the turkey, and that's what we're gonna use to baste it. So grab either 2 cups of chicken broth or just 2 cups of regular water. All right, bring it over to my roaster, turn down my temperature. Now I'm gonna be adding water, so just add your water. I'd say just 2 cups is fine. And I'm gonna put the lid on that. Now, if yours is going in the oven, you're gonna wanna cover it with either the roaster pan top or tin foil. So you're gonna bake your turkey for every pound 13 minutes. And so once those juices start coming out, you're gonna use your baster. You can use a spoon if you don't have a baster, and you're just gonna keep putting the juices along the top and keep watching it. And so here's just a couple tips. So when you're cooking your turkey, the legs and the wings are gonna cook faster because there's not as much meat in them, and there's like a lot of bones within there. So you're gonna wanna watch that. So while you're checking your temperature, you're gonna want it 165 degrees internal temperature at the thickest part. So I would suggest maybe checking the thighs or the breast. You're gonna wanna make sure you're not going through like bone, but more of the meat to get the accurate temperature. So if you notice that the temperature is just not getting to 165, the skin is starting to turn brown, you're gonna wanna grab some tin foil and wrap them around the legs and the wings to keep them from overcooking. But I don't know about you guys, but my kids all fight for the legs. They all love the turkey legs. When I was a kid, I loved the turkey legs too. So just continue cooking this. And another thing too is if you're using a Nesco, we actually like to put a towel over the Nesco because it doesn't seal as well as like if you're doing it in the oven. And you kind of had the tinfoil over it because the steam kind of comes out of it. Plus our roasters are like a little older. So we like to put towels over it just to keep that steam in there cooking that turkey. So that's an idea for you too if you're going to use a Nesco. But if you're going to put it in the oven, just, seal it really nice with aluminum foil. Okay, so mine's going. I'll come back in, how about we check in about an hour, show you how things are doing. If I have some of the juices, I'll, baste my turkey with it. I got my daughter in town grabbing me some potatoes for mashed potatoes. Thanksgiving is coming so fast, so I'm just trying to help prepare you if you really, aren't an expert at making turkeys. Now listen, I'm not an expert at making turkeys either. I'm not a chef. I'm not a restaurant owner. I'm just sharing with you, things that my mom has told me and my mother-in-law has told me that I can, pass down now to my children and to help you guys out. So, okay, I'll be back in about an hour to check on my turkey. So it's been about 2.5 hours. It's time to check it and to actually check the temperature. That is great. Okay, so it should be 165 degrees. Turn this on. You're gonna wanna get where it's meaty, like the thigh here, the breast, where you have a lot of meat. So let's check it out and see here. There we go. Whoop. Looks like that spot's done. Let's check the... Alright, so it looks like my turkey is officially done. That's the bone. I already checked the leg. Let's check this other leg. Yep. So it looks like my turkey's done. So I'm gonna grab some melted butter, put it on top. I'm actually gonna unplug this right now. I'm gonna grab some of the juices, put it on top. Let's do that right now though. Let's just grab some more of these juices. So it took about 3.5 hours for me to cook the turkey. Let me get this out, move it out of the way, there we go. I did add a little bit more water to mine because I feel like the water was evaporating. Let me go grab some butter to just kind of melt on top of it. And I'm gonna take it out, put it into one of my roaster pans just so I can get it out of the heat and just kind of let it set before I slice it. So I melted about 2 sticks of butter. Just gonna pour it on top of it. Now I didn't catch mine early enough. You're supposed to do it like within an hour and I didn't catch mine early enough. But I'm still gonna do it because everything's great with butter. Okay, I'm gonna cover it up for about 40 minutes. And then your turkey is ready to be served. All right, so now I'm gonna take off the tin foil. Sorry that it's a little loud right now, but I am actually in the process of canning homemade bone broth, which you're gonna see that video too, or you might have already seen it. All right, so, hey, voila. The turkey is done. So now all you gotta do is take the wings off, the legs off. You can just pull the chicken apart. You can slice the chicken breast, but it's pretty easy. So, okay, thanks so much for joining me. I'm making your very first turkey. I bet you it's gonna turn out good. All right, make sure to subscribe and like to Just the Bells 10 and look out for more ideas for Thanksgiving dinner. All right, thank you so much.